Au revoir. Welcome back to Therapy Thursday. Thank you so much for joining me. I am coming to you this time from Atlanta, Georgia. And right now I'm in this beautiful, called the Jazz Room. And I'm excited to just be joining with you today. So welcome back. This is a place that you can feel safe, get your healing on, get your freedom and your spirit to do all and be all that you want to be. No more limits. And that's what we do here in the therapy room. We take off the limits and help you take off that lid, that covering that's stopping you from doing and being what you want to be and do. All right. So today's Therapy Thursday is inspired by one of my clients that we're going to call the ER nurse. And the ER nurse is a ER nurse, and she is phenomenal. I love actually working with her. We've done some amazing work. But it started off with, she came to me because she was traumatized by all that she's gone through with COVID-19. Many of us, we have the fear of what we've gone through, but we don't think about those that are in the trenches, that from day one, they didn't go on quarantine. They were out there. They had to stay in the hospitals. They had to be there. And they saw the rawness of life. They saw the tragedy of loss and death, rapid death on a continual basis. All in the while, they had to stay calm. They had to stay confident. And they had to stay competent, even when they didn't have the information that they needed to give us. And so this particular, the ER nurse, she adopted in these 2 years of just constant war zone scenarios of living, she adopted severe anxiety. I mean, crippling anxiety, to where she was having panic attacks multiple times a day. She would go to the ER because she still had to work to make a living, and plus she loved what she did. But when she went, she would sometimes have these panic attacks on the job. So while you're at the hospital and you're seeing these nurses and they're busy and they're going here and there, they can actually be having panic attacks and be crippled by mental illnesses that they're not addressing. And so I'm so grateful that this particular nurse came to me and that I have this case study to share with you and to give you the tools and what I actually helped her do in the process of her journey of healing. And so the ER nurse, she came to me and she began to tell me about her story, about being an ER nurse and all the things that were going on. But this is what happened. So it wasn't just a normal anxiety, just waking up anxious. She would have intrusive thoughts that would come randomly. She didn't ask for them to come. She didn't want to be focusing on them, but these gruesome death thoughts, actually, these thoughts of her children getting in accidents, these thoughts of her husband or the family members getting COVID themselves. And because she had seen the behind the scenes stuff that was going on in ICUs and the ER and things that were going on with individuals that adopted or that caught COVID and were struggling with the symptoms, she was fearing that this was going to happen to herself and her children, to the point where her body just was responding and she was having symptoms of what would seem like a heart attack. Couldn't breathe, clammy hands, vision blurred. So it was just random all the time. And it would start from these intrusive thoughts that came in, and then the panic, then the anxiety attacks. And so today I'm going to talk about how to instantly tap out of a panic attack on the spot and tap out of anxiety altogether. It is work, but when you actively engage in it, I promise you, you will start seeing results quickly, because this is supernatural. This is not just something I learned in a classroom setting or a book that I've read. I've merged biblical principles with psychological concepts, and that's what I'm going to teach you today. And if you recall seeing the first session, I was a case study, and I shared my own struggles with panic attacks and anxiety. But this time I'm going to do a little twist. I'm going to talk more in depth on a particular strategy that I use and I actually teach my clients to use as well. So let's first go to the Bible. Let's go to the biblical principle that we're going to use for the foundation of the strategy that I'm going to teach you today. And the Bible says in 2 Timothy 1 verse 7, "For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind." Now let's park there for a minute. For God has not given us. God loves to give gifts. He's given us the gift of salvation for those who have accepted Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. He's given us the gift of breath when we were just when Adam was just a formation of the dust the dirt that he created. He then gave him breath. He gave him life. So God has given us life. He's given us the ability to think. He's given us a mind along with our physique and our body and all the components of this beautiful thing called human biology. God has also given us the spiritual component of ourselves. So we have our brain that functions, that can help us to navigate this world system. But it's also, he's given us a mind, the nefesh, that gives us the ability to tap into the things that are unseen. Like we can actually feel, we can think. Because see, if you think about a thought, you can't touch a thought. It's unseen, but it's there. Just like the wind, we feel the wind, but we can't see the wind. There's so many things that are spiritual, even regarding our phones. The phones are spiritual. People are like, well, no, some little guy in a little place made it up. But do you see how in the world am I able to be in Atlanta? And my best friend goes, and I was able to text her before we got on. I started recording, and she's way in London, and she gets it instantly. We're having a conversation. She's hundreds of miles away, thousands of miles away, actually, in London, England. And here I am in Atlanta, Georgia, and we're talking within seconds. That's spiritual. We don't see that stuff. However, God has given us this ability. And so he gives us things. But guess what? The enemy tries to give us things too. Sometimes he gives us these things when we have a trauma. And we have a trauma, and then we are opened up, and the portals of our soul are opened up because we're raw and things have happened. And guess what? He'll try to implant trauma, or he'll implant something from the trauma. So it could be fear, it could be regret, it could be resentment, it could be anger. Whatever it is, it's a seed. And if it's not benefiting you, it's not from the Lord. Because every good thing comes from God. Every good gift, it comes from the Lord. Anything that tries to weigh you down, anything that tries to derail you from your plans, anything that tries to hinder or sabotage your purpose, that was not given to you by the Lord. So I pause right here to talk about our emotions. And I love mentioning this all the time. We need them. They are actually gifts from the Lord. However, when they are running the show and they are the rogue, the boss, I talked about it in my last Therapy Thursday regarding the pilot. He was allowing his mood to be in the driver's seat. And so we have our emotions to help us to navigate this world, right? If a bear comes up to you, I don't want you to sit there and start playing patty cake and saying, yay, the bear. No, an emotion of the fear, what we're talking about today, anxiousness comes upon you to make a response, to do an action, to get out of there, to run, to move. But again, if that bear is gone and it's been 10 years and you're still fearful of bears and you're nowhere, you're in an inner city and there's no bears close to you but at the zoo, there is a problem. That's when the enemy has intervened, because I got to keep this spiritual. The enemy has intervened and he's allowed that emotion to wrap around your DNA, and it then becomes what a lot of people would think, oh, this is just how I am. You think it's your personality and you believe this is just how life is going to be. I have a lot of clients, and particularly the ER nurse, where they feel like since they've adopted this mental illness of panic attacks and extreme anxiety, they feel like it's going to be with them forever. And so this is what they'll say: I want to learn how to manage it. I want to learn how I can be normal, but with this mental illness. But I have news for you. Those who have been struggling with anxiety for years, I don't care if you were a child and you had anxiety and you're now in your 50s, 60s, and 70s, and they've told you this is just your disposition, this is just how you are. I have a lot of clients that say, my mother and my father have always said I've just always been an anxious child. There's no such thing. Remember, God did not give you the spirit of fear. God did not give you the spirit of anxiety. God did not give you anything that would derail your purpose in this earth. He did not give you anything that would cause you grief or pain. That's not our God. Our God is he's love. God is love. And so anything that's been given to you that is there to hurt you or harm you, that was given to you by the enemy. And I don't know about you, but have you ever had someone that didn't like you and they wanted to give you something as a gift? And I'm a stickler on witchcraft. That stuff is real. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect you. But I am wise regarding the enemy using witchcraft practice to try to harm you, using talismans, trying to use gifts, and they put the voodoo, hoodoo, the boogity boo stuff on it, and they try to give it to you as a gift because they're your enemy. They want to see your downfall. And so most of the time when you know someone doesn't like you, you either take the gift and give it to someone else, or you just say, oh no, thank you, that's okay. Let's bless someone else and just give it to them. Because why would you receive something from someone that hates you? Why would you receive something from someone that wants to kill you, steal from you, and destroy you? We wouldn't do it. And so because the enemy has given you this thing, the torment of anxiety, he's given you the torment of panic attacks, which is the manifestation of fear. It's time to give it back. It's time to send it back. And you can verbally say it like, Satan, you know what? I was a fool before and I took this and I was riding with it for years, but you know what? You can have it back. I don't want it. I don't want it. Send it back. Another way you can do it is some of us live in the realm of fear. We're like here I'm in the jazz room, and it's different components to this place. And so you can actually walk in one room and walk into another room and walk into another room, but I'm still in the jazz space. And so sometimes you can be delivered from one fear, and then you walk into another room of fear, and then another room of fear. You can fear birds, you can feel clowns, heights, death. If you go on and on and on, you can get delivered from one, but you still have a fear of something else. And delivered from another, you still have a fear of something else. And so what God's saying, you can learn how to tap out, walk out that room. You can visualize it in your mind to say, you know what? I don't like this space no more. It's not doing me justice. Now, if the jazz room started getting clownish and it was getting loud and obnoxious and I'm trying to do my video, I'm going to leave the jazz room. It's not, I don't care. I paid for it, but I'm going to leave. I'm going to say, this is not fulfilling my purpose. I'm tapping out. Bye. I'll go find me somewhere else. Excuse me. And so that's how it is with the realm or the room of fear. When you feel like you're just bound and you're going through all these different elements of fear, you have to visualize yourself. You know what? God didn't place me here. This is not my life. This is not my purpose. I got to tap out. I got to leave this space. And God will give you, and I'm going to help you today to show you how you're going to be able to do that. Stay with me. Okay, so if God didn't give you fear, what is he saying he's going to give you in its place? Because he knew it was going to happen in our lifetime. He knew through the generations that the enemy was going to use fear to try to block and to sabotage and to stop everything that we were doing to enlarge the kingdom through our purpose, through our lives, even through joy. People love joy and they're healed through our joy. The enemy wants to stop all that. And so God said, okay, when the enemy tries to give you fear, this is what I want you to do. Number one, no, I didn't give it to you in that form. I didn't give it to you in the form of binding you to it. But this is what you do if it does happen. But I've given you power. I've given you love, which is him, and I've given you a sound mind. The nefesh, the mind is the nefesh. What a man thinketh in his nefesh, his heart, his mind, his thoughts, so is he. Soundness of mind. Think on these things that are lovely, things that are beautiful, things that make you feel good. And I'm going to teach you how to do something. So this is going to be a quick tutorial on how to tap out of fear, anxiety, and panic attacks. So I want you to just settle yourself. I have myself in this nice comfy chair. Actually, it's very comfortable. And I want you just to lean into the space that you're in. Just lean in. Even if you want to let your shoulders go up and just relax them. I want you to make sure your feet are settled on the ground, on the surface that your feet would be on, and allow yourself to feel that surface, grounding your feet on that surface of the ground. I want you to allow your buttocks, your booty, to settle in and just relax, allowing your spinal cord to just rest in. And now I want you to take a nice deep breath, but this deep breath, when you get to the top of the breath, allowing your belly to extend out when you breathe in through your nose. And I want you to pause for 4 seconds, and then you're going to exhale through your mouth. Here we go with that relaxed state of your body, letting your shoulders relax, your feet grounded. Inhale in, extending your belly, filling it up. Hold and release. Another inhale in. Feel your belly, fill it up till you can't fill it up no more with that breath. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and release. Let your neck roll, releasing any tension in your shoulders and your neck. If you feel any tension left in your body, any place that you're holding onto and it's not softened, when you breathe in, allow this breath to surround it, hold it, soften it, and then release it. Breathe in and let it go. And as you keep your eyes closed, letting your breath go to a nice rhythm, a natural rhythm, keeping your body relaxed, take yourself in your mind's eye to a beautiful forest with trees that seem like they go up to the sky. They're going high and high. It's no ending, like they're going all the way up to the heavens. They're beautiful evergreen trees. The trunks are huge, way bigger than your body, a couple of you. They're huge and they're round. And as you look to your left and you look to your right, they go on and on and on. There's hundreds of trees, evergreen trees. But as you look down, you see a path. And it's a clear path. And you begin to walk on this path. And on the sides of this gravel or this dirt road that's in this wood, forest-like area, you see a row of your favorite flowers. And it's like they're leading you somewhere. You don't know yet, but they're just leading you, guiding you, summoning you to walk in this direction. And so as you walk and you look up, you see a beautiful dawn, a beautiful deer. It's like a baby deer, and it's looking at you and you're looking at the deer, but you don't feel scared. It's like you both feel peace and you're looking at each other and there's no fear from neither one of you. You take a moment and you're looking at the physique of this beautiful creature that God has created. And it's just as you look, the deer nods at you and begins to leap away to your left. And as you see where the deer was once, you see far off in front of you, you see faintly a water brook. And you now know that that's where this path is leading you. And so as you begin to walk towards this water brook, you decide to pick up one of your flowers, and as you're walking, you're feeling the petals of the flowers. Allow yourself to just feel the flowers, the softness of the petals and the roughness of the stem. As you're still walking, you feel a leaf fall from the tree, and it falls and touches your face and touches your shoulder and falls down to the ground. And you feel a gentle breeze flowing by you. But it feels so nice and cool. And then just as you're paused for a moment and reminiscing on the beautiful feeling that you felt of the flowers and the breeze and the soft leaf, you then hear some rumbling in the bush. And as you hear the rumbling, you look down and you feel a slight hesitation, but then you begin to chuckle because you see a little squirrel come out with a little acorn in his little hands. And as soon as he comes in the clearing, you then see another squirrel, and they begin to chase each other, and it's like the little squirrels are playing chase, and then they begin to run up one of those tree trunks, and they're going around and around and around and up and up and up and around, and you're hearing their little feet titter-tatter and titter-tattering on the trunk of the trees until they go up into the heavens of that tree and you don't see them no more. You then hear, as you are looking up, you hear a swarm of geese. And it's like they're singing a song to each other, having a conversation. And you imagine, what would they be talking about as they're flying overhead? And as you're still walking, you now hear the water. You're hearing it go over the water brooks, over the rocks that are inside the water brook. And you're there. You're at this beautiful, scenic water brook, and you take a nice deep breath in. What do you smell? Does it smell woody? Does it smell like salt? the salt from the water that's right in front of you? Or does it smell like the flowers that you were holding in the path that brought you there? As you reminisce and think about the scents that are blessing your nostrils, you then look to your right and you see a big rock, and it looks like it was just made for you. And you walk over and you sit on the rock, and then you just look around and you think about, if that scent that you smelled had a taste, what would it taste like? Does it taste woody, if you ever could think of what wood tastes like? Does it taste like the salt? Does it taste like jasmine? What would be a taste that you can imagine? Allow it to roll over your imaginative taste buds. And now, as you're on this rock, I want you to look around and take a panoramic view of where you're at in this beautiful forest, allowing all of your senses to be one, thinking about what you've seen, what you've heard, what you've touched, what you've smelled, and what you've tasted. If you can bring them all and have an experience of one emotion, what would it be? One word, what would that be? Is it tranquil? Is it peace? Is it freedom? Is it love? Is it pureness? What is that word? What comes up to you in this moment? Whatever that word is, I want you to sit in it. Happiness, joy, gratefulness, whatever it comes up, sit in that feeling. Enjoy that feeling. Embrace that feeling. This place, this rock, this water brook, these trees, these flowers, this path has led you to this moment, this feeling. Stay in this feeling, this place. Capture it in your mind. Allow all of your senses to feel it. And as you're coming back to yourself, take a nice deep breath. Become aware of your environment where you're at, your room that you're in, that seat that you're sitting in, your chair, your couch. Become more aware of where you're at. And I want you to open your eyes when you're able to. And this is the place I want you to go. In those moments, it doesn't matter if you wake up feeling anxious, go to your rock. Your tranquil rock, your peaceful rock, your joy rock, your happy forest, whatever you want to name it. If one part of the element of this guided meditation was your peace, I want you to run to that place. If it was during the path of your walking, if it was during the path of touching your flower, whichever place was the most peaceful place, that's where you run to. Practice this. I want you until we meet again, I want you to practice going to this place. Even before you feel anxious, even before you feel panic, I want you just to practice, just sitting still, taking those 3 deep breaths and walking through that in your mind's eye. Getting to a place where you're creating that feeling, because this is a powerful thing. What we've just done is an internal stimuli, an internal ability for you to create a feeling all in your mind. A lot of times we look for things external to us. We look for people, we look for food, we use our vehicles, clothes, our hair, whatever we want to use to make us feel good. But there's something more powerful that you can use to feel good, and that is your beautiful mind. So I want you to practice this, enjoy it, go to that place of just feeling in control of your emotion. And I promise you, once you get that, because we did mindfulness too. So when you get to the place where you have the ability to be mindful, and that you're placing in your mind the thoughts that you want to create to feel the way that you want to feel, you are going to be an unstoppable being, that the enemy will not be able to use your emotions to dictate what you do. So as we are coming to a wrap, I just want you to know you got this. I'm here with you. I'm coaching you through with my pom-poms and the cheer. You got this. You got this. All right. All right. I cheered when I was a little girl for one time. They was throwing me, and because I was so little, they was put me on the top of the pyramids, throwing me up, and I was like, Mama, I don't want to do this again. I said, I want to be on the field. So she put me in the powder puff. I was in flag football. I said, I want to be in this. I want to be the aggressor in this thing. Y'all not throwing me around. So you become the author of your life. You dictate what you want to have happen with your emotions. Practice it. I promise you, you're going to feel a lot better. If you want a little more in depth, if you want me to actually help you one-on-one, please reach out to me. Go to JacquelineRivers.com or go to Yafa1.com and we can have a one-on-one session. I'm here for you. I want to help you get through this. All right? You got this. You're going to make it. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Au revoir. Bye.